What's up everybody on YouTube? AJ Russ back here with another video, and today I'll be sharing with y'all my spoiler review of The Batman. Let's get it. Alright guys, so like I said, this is a spoiler review, so if you have not seen The Batman yet, go see The Batman. Go see the movie. If you want to see what I talked about in the movie in my spoiler-free review before going to see the movie, go watch that for sure. But click off this video because there are definitely spoilers about The Batman. So with that being said, let's just go on and hop into the movie. Since The Batman was announced basically in 2019, I've been looking forward to a new take on The Batman and Robert Pattinson portraying Bruce Wayne and Batman in particular, and literally he knocked this out of the park. I mean, the whole cast, the whole cast was amazing. From the Riddler being portrayed by Paul Dano, he was absolutely amazing, bro. The scenes were so brutal. We saw at the beginning of the film, of course, he ended up murdering the mayor, and just all the brutal killings and all the codes and the ciphers that he had. I mean, it was just really interesting. It made you think in the film, watching it. I know I was thinking a lot, trying to decipher the codes and stuff like that. The Riddler. So I just thought that he was a great villain. Of course, seeing the Penguin. And of course, he wasn't fully the Penguin. He's not fully the Penguin yet, not established yet. But just seeing him, Catwoman being portrayed by Zoe Kravitz, she was amazing. Super fun too, but anyways, yeah, I mean, bro, this movie is just amazing. Like, I swear, it's all around. Andy Serkis being Alfred, just all the truths in the lies, and just we saw a lot of the Batman in the film in correspondence to Bruce Wayne. There's about probably like 80% of the Batman in the movie, and then like a 20% of Bruce Wayne. I mean, Bruce Wayne, you can tell he's reserved. Really, he's just trying to be the Batman. But now at the end of the film, of course, when we saw everything that happened with the flood and all that, and him being able to basically save the city, when he put his body, himself on the in the flood, but he had his armor that had electricity, shocking the water. We saw that, and then he ended up saving the city. So I think in the sequel, we'll see a more established version of the Batman. But for sure, I mean, this movie just from top to bottom is amazing. Like, just so many great things to say about it from my perspective. The combat from top to bottom is amazing. We get to see the Batman just fully unleashed. Of course, he doesn't kill, he doesn't cross that line, but he is very brutal. We saw at the end of the film, basically, when he was being saved by Catwoman, and he ended up putting an adrenaline rush into him. Basically, he ended up, I mean, he hit a lot of combos, at least like 10 jabs. I counted at one of the Riddler's hitchmen that we saw, because we know at the end of the film, Riddler, he ends up being in prison, which we'll talk about in a second, because that ending was crazy. But we saw that Batman, he was just, I mean, his combat was amazing. Of course, in the comics and in the Batman lore, he's trained by ninjas, and in this film that wasn't really talked upon. We know that the Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman, he was in year 2 of being the Batman, so just still learning the ropes and everything. He has an established relationship with Commissioner Gordon, and I also like that the detective side of this film. It was truly a Batman detective story. Him and Commissioner Gordon, they had amazing chemistry in this film, and I just loved seeing it. It was just really cool to see that, seeing the world's greatest detective in the Batman. But really, in this film, Commissioner Gordon and Batman, they had a lot of errors, in terms of learning detectives and just putting everything together. When they captured the Riddler, it was only because the Riddler basically surrendered. But I mean, I'm sure their dynamic will continue to transpire even more and get better as we see more of the Batman in the Batman universe, the Batverse. So I mean, bro, this movie is crazy. I can just go on and on about saying how amazing this film is. Like, literally, I want to see it again. I saw it yesterday, but I need to see it probably another time, or probably 2 more times. I mean, the film is almost 3 hours long, but I mean, some people talk about that they felt the length of the movie, but I didn't feel it. Like, I did not want it to be over. I wanted to experience it again and again. Like, just the dark tone of the Batman. We see a lot of superhero films, which of course we know are very lighthearted, and nowadays of course they have a nice tone. Like in Marvel Studios have great tones and stuff like that. But it was nice to see something dark, like just something crazy, full of emotion and stuff like that. I mean, that's what I like. I mean, something that's relatable and it hits you to the core. So that's for sure this in this movie for sure. There's also been multiple spin-offs that have basically been rumored and some confirmed, like the Penguin from the Batman movie. He's going to get his own series. It's going to be R-rated, directed by Matt Reeves, so that's going to be cool to see. There's also been rumored that Gotham's PD in the Batman universe is going to be have a little show as well that comes on HBO Max, that will be released on HBO Max, which will headline Commissioner Gordon, starring Jeffrey Wright starring in that role, and then also something about Catwoman as well, and an Arkham Asylum series too as well, which we saw at the ending. Basically, we saw the Riddler in the prison, and we saw basically Barry Keoghan, who played Drigg in Eternals. for a long time it's been rumored that he is gonna be playing the Joker, and we heard that laugh at the end, guys. That's for sure him, and the Joker is gonna be in this universe. I don't think he'll be the main antagonist of Batman, the Batman 2, who, whatever antagonist that'll be interesting. I was watching New Rockstar's video earlier, so and just they were talking about multiple characters, and also I saw something on Instagram saying that someone it could be Hush as the second villain. So I don't know, we'll see. But hey, I'm glad Barry Keoghan, he's gonna be playing the Joker. That's gonna be a good take on that. Just the casting in this film is just amazing. I mean, it sets up so many different things. We get to see a lot of the Batman's rogues galleries, I'm sure, in the future. I mean, Matt Reeves, he literally looks seems like he understands the character of the Batman from top to bottom. Like, I was talking to myself earlier, just thinking about something, and I was thinking like Matt Reeves for the Batman is what Sam Raimi is for the original Spider-Man trilogy, in my opinion. Like, he's gonna do tremendous justice. Hopefully Warner Brothers doesn't interfere with Matt Reeves' plans, doesn't get money hungry or greedy or anything like that, like Sony did with the Tobey Maguire movies and Raimi trilogy. Because I really think the Matt Reeves trilogy, or however many films and the universe of the Batman, it potentially could end up being the best live action take on the Batman. And for sure, this is my favorite DC movie by far, and for sure my favorite Batman movie. A lot of people who love the Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan Batman movies with the Dark Knight Rises, and Batman Begins, I know they're probably triggering right now, but for real, like, for me, this movie was just beautiful. Like, it was literally a work of art. Like, I was amazed, and I just can't stop thinking about this movie, like, for real though. That was a little mention about, you know, the ending of the film, of course, ending at the Arkham Asylum with the Riddler and the Joker. There's not really too much of a post-credit scene. I guess there kind of is. It's like, it's very small. It's like the, you know, the Riddler's, you know, coding saying goodbye, something like that, question mark, and that sets up potential things for the Riddler to return in some type of capacity, whether it's in the next film. I don't think it'll be the next film, but, you know, and later down in the Robert Pattinson movie. So we'll see about that. But I'm just in awe of this movie, genuinely. If y'all watch my spoiler-free review that I posted, I'm definitely rating this movie a 10 out of 10. Like, I'm sure if you want to nitpick and stuff like that, there's some imperfections. Like, some people are talking about the length of the movie, but like I said, I didn't want it to be over. So in my opinion, my rating for the Batman is a 10 out of 10. Like, it's just absolutely spectacular. Like, I mean, Warner Brothers definitely has a hit with this, like I said, and as long as they let Matt Reeves have his creative freedom with the Batman franchise going forward and all this potential spin-offs and things like that, hey, they'll be set for sure. I think they need to just stop trying to compete with Marvel Studios, you know, trying to have everything connected and stuff like that, because, I mean, that's very rare. Like, Marvel Studios is headlined by Kevin Feige, who literally has helped design the universe for years. He was with the original Fox X-Men franchise 20 years ago. So that's just a enormity, in my opinion. I think the Warner Brothers need to just focus on what they have and what the creators that they have, and just try to do how they're doing. You know, they have a lot of things coming out this year, like The Flash, Black Adam, and Aquaman, of course. I don't think they'll be as good as the Batman, though. Like, I think all the films this year is going to be hard to live up to the Batman. Like, I think Doctor Strange to the Multiverse of Madness, I've been looking forward to that, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse are going to be really good. But, man, the Batman for sure is the best movie of 2022 right now. It's March, so it's still early, but yeah, the Batman, it's like that. It's goated for sure. My favorite film of this year so far, even though it's just March, but the Batman is top tier. One thing I also wanted to talk about as well, for sure, before closing out the video, was the whole story of the Waynes before, you know, when Bruce was young, and the Carmine Falcone storyline. I think that was very interesting. Matt Reeves, he paid a lot of attention to the comics and stuff. He you know, used inspiration from The Long Halloween. We know in the film that the first what's it called? It opened up on Halloween in the first scene, and it took place over a 6 to 7 day period, because at the end of the film, it ended on November 6th. So that was very interesting. So he took inspiration from the comics, The Long Halloween, and Batman Hush, and multiple other things. But talking about Carmine Falcone, in my opinion, I was thinking to myself when I was watching the film, like, low-key, he's kind of like Kingpin in terms of how he, you know, had the cops under his payroll. Like, he's similar to Kingpin in that way in Marvel, in my opinion. But we ended up seeing Falcone getting shot by the Riddler, so that was interesting. I also thought it was pretty cool that Catwoman is his daughter, but I mean, she wanted him dead for sure. Like, she had a vengeance. Batman, I'm vengeance. She had a vengeance against him. So that was just interesting to see. I wanted to speak about that. And then just Catwoman, like I said, Zoe Kravitz, she was amazing. I said earlier that there's been rumors about her potentially getting a spinoff as well. We saw her end up leaving, going to a city in it's called Bloodhaven, I think, something like that. that she ended up going to, and I think in the comics, Nightwing, that's where he usually does his stuff. So potential of Robin being in this universe, that would be cool too. So hey, you never know, man. Hey, I'm just so excited about this film. I need to see it again, hopefully sometime later this week or something like that. I gotta see it again. But yeah, for sure, like I said, this movie is goated. Definitely right now, film of the year for 2022 right now. Let me know in the comments down below where you rank the Batman in terms of, you know, the Batman films and also the DC films just in general. Like I said, this is #1 for me. DC films and Batman just in general, all the Batman movies that have been generated over the years for the past, you know, half century basically. So this is #1 for me. So definitely love this movie, guys. So I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SwaggyRuss. Stay tuned for more content, more comic book videos, all types of things. I appreciate y'all support. Take it easy, be blessed. And yeah, y'all have a good one. Peace.